Hey, this is Tommy John, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
You can put it on the board. Yes! Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio. That's AAMP Television. Today's show is brought to you by UppercutChops.com. Check out their tasty selection of all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu steaks and chops. Wait till you taste their best-in-class New York steaks, the filet mignon, and of course the king of all, those gigantic cowboy cut and tomahawk cut ribeyes. Best you'll ever have, probably be the best I've ever had as well. In fact, even those half-pound burgers are clearly the best USDA Prime Wagyu burgers I've ever had. Check them out at UppercutChops.com. That's UppercutChops.com. Or give them a call, find out what's for dinner at 702-799-9935, 702-799-9935, 702-799-9935 for UppercutChops.com. Yes! Welcome in, everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates and independents from coast to coast. Everybody watching on Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, Oceanic, Time Warner, and Wow Cable TV in select markets. Thanks for joining us also on Hotel Television in all Nielsen-rated markets, plus everybody also on Facebook on Chicago Food Favorites. Thanks for joining us, folks. Make sure you check that out, Chicago Food Favorites. Like, follow, participate, have fun. It's free. Talk about your favorite foods, your favorite restaurants, whatever it is. Facebook, Chicago Food Favorites. All right. Now, we did cover a little bit about the Olympics in our last show, but I do want to say a few other things here. We're going to spend some time talking about the females. This show is largely dedicated to the ladies in our lives, and the ladies we see on television, and those we decorate, those we celebrate, and those we just know, if you know what I mean. Now, in the Olympic Games over in Paris, it's kind of a good stat for all those that think that the 40% extra strength that men have over women, and I'm not talking about the alleged guys that compete as women. No, I'm not talking about that. We're talking about the women that actually participated in the Paris Games. And you know, in case you didn't know, women actually earned the majority of the gold medals for Team USA. How do you like that? That's pretty good stuff. Now, of Team USA's 40 gold medals, 26 of them were won by women, who won more than half of the USA's medals in an Olympics marked by a historic gender parity. Kind of like that. So these Olympic Games in Paris reached a landmark as the first Olympics with a total of gender parity, of course, where 50% of the athletes present were actually women. So, all right, now you flip a coin. All right, who's going to win one? Well, it looks like the women took over this time. In fact, but it was also a big Olympics for American women generally, who took home the majority of the medals for Team USA in the first place. And of course, the United States ended with by far the most medals in the Olympics, with 126 total medals, the highest number achieved by the U.S. in a single Games. And the U.S. also tied for 40 gold medals with China. Team USA had a total of 592 athletes. 257 of them took home medals. A very, very impressive feat. You're like, good athletes. That's pretty good stuff. In fact, 13 athletes won multiple gold medals. And there were 47 disciplines in which they were competing in. 166 first-time medalists. How cool is that? That's what these Olympic Games actually presented. In fact, 24 truckloads of apparel were shipped there. 6 world records were broken. 240, almost 240 and a half plus thousands of pounds of supplies were shipped over there. 10,500 total athletes representing 200 plus nations. 48 states in these United States of America were represented. 257 Team USA medalists. And the list goes on and on. That's pretty impressive. But notably, most of those medals were won in the women's events. In the end, more than half of all medals earned for the US of A were in women's events. 69 of the 126 medals won by the United States were won by women. Team USA also earned 6 medals in mixed events. That's pretty cool. Of course, this total does not include the stripped bronze medal for Jordan Childs on the floor exercise, which USA Gymnastics is fighting to get back, but that's another story for a little bit later in the show. In terms of gold medals, the women of Team USA dominated there too. 26 of the 40 total gold medals were in women's events, with female athletes earning 65% of U.S. gold medals. They like that. In fact, the success of these games follow up similar success at the Tokyo Olympics, where Team USA women earned 66, a then record number, of the United States' 113 total medals. So in Paris, 13 Team USA events won multiple gold medals. 10 of those included Simone Biles, Katie Ledecky, Gabby Thomas, and other big names in Team USA. Yes, they were women. As a matter of fact, women won the first medal of the competition, with Cassidy Cook and Sarah Bacon earning silver in the women's 3-meter synchronized diving to kick things off. And the last with USA women's basketball fighting to take the gold against host France. In fact, with such a dominant performance from the women of Team USA, it's worth taking time to honor them. And in fact, here's a nice little list of every woman who won gold for the United States in Paris. In swimming, it was Tori Husky in the 100-meter butterfly, 4x100 medley, and 4x100 mixed medley. Katie Ledecky in the 1,500-meter freestyle and the 800-meter freestyle. Kate Douglas, 200-meter breaststroke and the 4x100 medley. Reagan Smith, 4x100 medley, 4x100 mixed medley. Lily King, 4x100 medley. Gretchen Walsh, 4x100 medley, 4x100 meter mixed medley. Abby Whitesell, 4x100 mixed medley. Catherine Burkhoff, 4x100 mixed medley. Alex Shackle, 4x100 medley. Emma Weber, 4x100 medley. Now in fencing, that was all swimming. So they absolutely killed it in swimming. In fencing, you don't hear about this one too often. Lee Kiefer, individual foil, team foil. Jacqueline Dubrovich, team foil. Lauren Scruggs, team foil. Maya May Weintraub, team foil. In gymnastics, Simone Biles, team competition all around and vault. Sunisa Lee, team competition. Jordan Childs, team competition. Jaden Carey, gymnastics team competition. And Halsey Rivera, team competition. In cycling, yes, the women even won in cycling. Kristen Faulkner, road race, team pursuit, track. Chloe Diger, team pursuit, track. Jennifer Valenti, team pursuit, track. And Omnius. Lily Williams, team pursuit, track. Track and field, women did really well there. Valerie Ullman, discus. Tara Davis Woodall, long jump. Gabby Thomas, 200 meter. 4x100 meter relay. 4x400 meter relay. That's a tough task. Let's go from 100 to 400. Mercy. Sidley McLaughlin Lavron, 400 meter hurdle. 4x400 meter relay. Melissa Jefferson, 4x100 relay. Sha'Carri Richardson, 4x100 relay. Twanisha Terry, 4x100 relay. Masai Russell, 100 meter hurdles. Shamir Little, 4x400 relay. Alexis Holmes, 4x400 relay. Caitlin Brown, 4x400 relay. And, of course, Aaliyah Butler, 4x400 relay. And Kanira Hayes, 4x400 relay. Now, of course, we have Team USA Soccer. USA Women's National Team. These are the winners from Team USA Soccer, the women's team. Corbin Albert, Croy Bethune, Samantha Coffey, Tiernan Davis, Crystal Dunn, Emily Fox, Naomi Girma, Lindsey Horan, Casey Kruger, Rose Lavelle, Casey Murphy, Alyssa Nair, Jenna Neiswanger, Trinity Rodman, Emily Sams, Jaden Shaw, Sophia Smith, Emily Sonnet, Mallory Swanson, that's the wife of Dansby Swanson for the Chicago Cubs. In fact, she won her gold medal on the same day that he got his 1,000th hit in Major League Baseball. How do you like that? And, of course, Lynn Williams. Team USA basketball for the ladies. Yes, it was Nafisa Collier. It was Cooper. It was Gray. It was Grant. It was Lonsku. It was Lloyd, Plum, Stewart, Torsey, Thomas, Wilson, Ann Young. Surfing, Caroline Marks. Yes, surfing. Got to like that one. Yes. Wrestling for the ladies. Mito Lelore, freestyle wrestling, 68 kilograms. And Sarah Ann Hildebrandt, freestyle wrestling, 50 kilograms. And, of course, weightlifting. Olivia Reeves, weightlifting, 71 kilograms. That is the list of the women's medalists for Team USA. Yes, it was a long list, but guess we have to give the attention to the ladies. We have to make sure that we acknowledge them. And frankly, they dominated. If it wasn't for the ladies, let's face it, Team USA would not have technically won the Olympic Games. So a nice round of applause for the ladies, for Team USA. In fact, we're going to carry on with Team USA. We're talking about gymnastics when we come back from the break. Here on the Sports Circus. Lots more to come, folks. Don't go anywhere.
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC sports affiliates across North America, with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at 702-799-9935. Again, 702-799-9935. Or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
Could you use a little extra money right now? If you'd like to borrow up to $100,000 and get pre-approved in minutes, call the number we'll give you at the end of this commercial. Our lending partners have already loaned millions of dollars to individuals just like you, and we're ready to lend you up to $100,000 if you qualify. Even if your credit is not perfect, you could use the money to pay off high-interest credit cards, for home renovations, or consolidate existing debt. You can get flexible, easy-to-pay terms. The consultation to find out if you qualify is free. To find out if you qualify for our special financing program, call this toll-free number 24 hours a day. 800-335-1376. 800-335-1376. 800-335-1376. That's 800-335-1376. Important terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Loan amount, annual percentage rate, and term will vary depending on creditworthiness. Applying does not guarantee approval. Account approval is subject to verification and confirmation of your credit history and acceptance by a lender. If you choose to apply for a loan through us, a consumer report will be obtained to evaluate your creditworthiness in connection with your application for credit.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UpperCutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UpperCutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UpperCutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UpperCutChops.com or call 702-799-9935. That's 702-799-9935. 702-799-9935. Or make your selection directly at UpperCutChops.com.
back to the Sports Circus. I'm Roy Firestone. Now it's time to throw it back to Sal.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio. That's AAMP Television Studios. A big thanks to everybody tuning in on all of our network affiliates from Honolulu on CBS Sports 1500 KHKA. That's home of the New York Yankees, the San Francisco 49ers, and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Welcome in to everybody else up and down the West Coast on all of our independents and network affiliates, all the way through to Denver, down through Texas, upper Midwest, down to Alabama, and WAUD in Auburn, Alabama. That's home of the Atlanta Braves, 1230 on the AM dial. Big hello to our friends over in Atlanta, WDJY 99.1 FM, plus all of our other independents up and down the East Coast. And, of course, big hello to our friends on television, on Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, Time Warner, Oceanic, and Wild Cable Television. Also, Hotel TV, and on Facebook, and everybody else also on YouTube as well. Thanks for joining us here. Of course, this segment brought to you in part by our friends over at, that would be the College of Southern Nevada. The College of Southern Nevada Athletics, CSNCoyotes.com for upcoming games and events. That's CSNCoyotes.com for the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. Nice round of applause for them. Maybe you'll get, there it is. I say maybe you'll get the Kung Fu applause. Listen, folks, this is live. Anything can happen. There's the real applause. All right. Listen, technical difficulties happen. We don't fix it in the mix. Whatever's out there, it's out there. That's the beauty of doing this live, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know who's going to call in and participate in the chaos, because I can assure you, there's a little bit of chaos on this show from time to time. You know, we've done about 2,000 of these, and you never know what's going to happen. We've had the power go out. I have to say this one. This was, I think it was back in fact, it was in January of 2018. We think of what can go wrong, may go wrong, and possibly will go wrong. So we think back to our show in January. Back at that time, January of 2018, we did a show with Lee Steinberg. And if you don't know who Lee Steinberg is, Lee Steinberg is basically the movie Jerry Maguire was based on him. And we think of the start of the sports agent world, right? And so Lee Steinberg was the guy. And so Lee at that time was the biggest guest that this show has ever had scheduled at that point. And he's a very, very nice guy. Very nice guy. And here we're just getting ready to welcome him on. We just switched studios because we changed off of one of our stations here as our SB Nation affiliate here in Las Vegas. And sure enough, my sidekick at the time was Long Beach Lenny. And of course, a big round of applause for Long Beach Lenny for being with us for nearly 2 years. A great guy. Wonderful guy. And so Lenny and I were getting ready to start the second segment just like we're doing here. That's what made me think of this. And there was a little bit of glitch on our software here. And so sure enough, what can go wrong probably will go wrong. And so I'm getting ready to do the intro. Welcome back to the Sports Circus, just like I did here. And guess what? It just happened that the power went out in my building. Oh, yeah. Again, this was the biggest show that we had scheduled ever on this Sports Circus program. And luckily, Lenny was still on the connection that we had, because we had a very specific type of connection. It's hard to explain, but I'm not going to explain it. But the point is, he was still on the connection. And so I cut out completely. I had to completely reboot my machine. And all the soundboards, everything went out. It was ridiculous. I mean, right now, we've got actually 2 soundboards going here. We have 11 elements that we need to keep track of. We have 8 lighting elements on top of it. So, I mean, this is crazy. You wouldn't believe what goes into producing a show. And so at this particular point, Lenny, luckily, did not get cut off. And he actually brought us back from the break, knowing that I wasn't there, because he had mentioned something to me and he was waiting. Hey, are you going to start this or am I going to start this? Well, guess what? I wasn't even on. So he started it. I came back in about 2.5 minutes into it, and you never knew the power went out. But can you imagine the biggest moment in your program, or just imagine the biggest thing in your life? Let's say maybe you're getting married or something like that, and let's say your car breaks down on the way to the venue where you're getting married. Oh yeah, this kind of stuff happens. So anyway, our power went out. And so in the 2,000 shows nearabouts that we've done, man, some weird things have happened. And so that's just what this little glitch in our programming over here reminded me of. So I'm sorry about digressing, but it was kind of interesting. It's been kind of fun. And these 2,000 shows, look, it's been a lot of fun. We've had some shows that were really fun, really good, and others, you know, they probably could have gone better. I mean, our very first show, that was the first 10 minutes of the show, boy, was it painful. And it was painful. Now, you can get to it. I'm not going to tell you exactly how to get to it. No, actually, I will. If you go to the sportscircus.com and you hit the word podcast. Now, our shows are stored in their entirety. They're not edited. They're not this. They're not that. If you go to the sportscircus.com and you click on, in fact, I'll do it right now with you. So let's go there, and I'll tell you exactly how to do it. So you go to the page, and then you'll see, if you scroll down from the top, it'll show all the logos. You'll see the big top, the rolling big top, and some network affiliates. Then you'll see Apple, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Audible, LinkedIn, Amazon Music, Pandora, iHeart, and all that stuff. Now, if you see, it'll say click on the master archive. I think this is the right one. So under the word podcast, you probably could, you can actually just click on podcast. I'll do that. All right. And when you click on podcast, it will take you to a menu with 3 different choices. It says listen, the master, and then the legacy. If you want to hear our very first show, and I have to tell you, folks, it was pretty rough. It was rough. So you click on where it says Legacy Archives. All right, now that brings you to the Circus Archive from our NBC affiliate in Los Angeles. You'll see NBC Sports, NBC News Radio, etc., etc. And you'll see all these episodes going all the way back. I mean, there are a ton of these things. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, now see, this only goes back to March 25th of 2017. Now, if you want the other shows that go all the way back to 2016, I think you're going to have to contact me, and I'll have to send you a link. But I have to tell you, folks, these shows have been remarkably unpredictable. But imagine going all the way back to 2016. Here we are in 2024. And it's really been a chaotic run. But we've had some spectacular shows. In fact, we've got a really cool 2000s show coming up. And that's with Craig Colquitt, his sons, Dustin Colquitt, and Britton Colquitt. Now, if you don't know who they are, you've probably heard their names if you know anything about the NFL. Now, Craig Colquitt won 2 Super Bowls with the Pittsburgh Steelers as their punter back in their Steel Curtain days, with Terry Bradshaw as their quarterback. And his 2 sons, Dustin and Britton, they each won a Super Bowl. Dustin won with the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. Of course, nice round of applause for him. And Britton Colquitt was the kicker for the Denver Broncos when they won with Peyton Manning. How do you like that? It's the only family in NFL history to actually win Super Bowls in 2 different generations. So that's going to be our 2000 show. That's coming up on the 19th of August. And coming up shortly thereafter, now I don't have the exact date, not yet, because a lot of it depends on the U.S. Open and the tennis schedule. And we don't do a lot of tennis shows, but I'll tell you what, we're going to do a really cool show, and this is coming up with Italian tennis star, 10-time singles champion, 2-time doubles ATP tennis champion, and Boss brand ambassador. Now, Boss is saying Boss clothing, Boss activewear, etc., etc. That would be Matteo Berrettini. And this guy has a very big personality. and just a very, very likable guy. Of course, competing in the U.S. Open. How cool is that in a Grand Slam of tennis? And so he's going to be on the program coming up shortly thereafter, the Colquitt Show, which is on the 19th. And right after that, we're welcoming in the legendary music and television icon, Mr. Las Vegas, Wayne Newton. Yes! Cool as that. There's so much diversity on this show. Sports, and music, and business. Just looking down our recent list. So we just had Aaron Fink, who is the founding lead guitarist of multi-platinum rock band Breaking Benjamin. He's also he plays lead guitarist for a band called Airshot, very good band called Airshot. And plus, actually, Aaron has his own band that he just put together too. And previous to that is our other special guest. Right before them, we had Buck Dharma of the legendary band, platinum-selling band Blue Oyster Cult. And so Buck was on with us. He was one of the founders of that band. Mark Schulman, we've had on here, drummer for Pink, Cher, Stevie Nicks, Billy Idol, Foreigner, Velvet Revolver, Grant Fuhr, 5-time Stanley Cup champion with the Edmonton Oilers. And just going down this, Jose Araujo, one of our favorites, World Series champion from the Cincinnati Reds. Bobby Valentine, 20-year veteran, player and coach and TV analyst, etc. I mean, all kinds of people on here. Even the great Tom Flores and Brian Urlacher, a personal friend here for the circus. Just great people on this show. Listen, folks, lots more to come. I promise I'll get back to the Olympics in the next segment. You sometimes get a little sidetracked. It happens. Back here in a few. Don't go anywhere. I'm your Ringmaster Sal of the Sports Circus, a primetime, nationally syndicated television, radio, sports, and entertainment show. The Sports Circus covers topics others are too scared to talk about. There's no other primetime show like it on here that'll punch you in the face and you'll beg for more. Join me, Hall of Famers, world champions, and all-star celebrity guests for chaos and controversy here on Libsyn and all podcast platforms, plus thesportscircus.com. Remember, folks, it's a circus and we prove it every day.
Hello, Americans. It's Uncle Sam here. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS or state, don't worry. I've got important news that may help you negotiate a lower tax bill. In today's economy, the IRS has released a variety of new rules and is offering more flexible terms to help Americans looking to settle their IRS debt. If you apply today, we may be able to lift your wage garnishments and release a freeze on your bank assets or business. Our team of tax professionals can resolve your case and stop collection actions against you. Even if you've been audited or haven't filed a return in years, they can help. Call right now and find out if you qualify to settle your IRS debt for far less than what you owe. Pick up your phone right now and call us for a free $500 IRS tax review. Don't wait. Here's the number.
Call right now. 800-950-2049. 800-950-2049. 800-950-2049. For the last time. That's 800-950-2049.
The old way of living with diabetes is a pain. You've got to remember to do your testing and always need to stick your fingers to test your blood sugar. The new way to live your life with diabetes is with a continuous glucose monitor. Apply a discrete sensor on your body, and it continuously monitors your glucose levels, helping you spend more time in range and freeing you from painful finger sticks. If you are living with type 1 or type 2 diabetes and you use insulin or have had hypoglycemic events, you might be eligible for a CGM through your insurance benefits. U.S. Med partners with over 500 private insurance companies and Medicare. We offer free shipping, 90-day supplies, and we bill your insurance. Call us today for a free benefits check.
800-659-7805. 800-659-7805. 800-659-7805. That's 800-659-7805.
That's ridiculous.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting. Hey everyone, Dave Jackson here, ESPN rules analyst on ESPN Hockey, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. This segment brought to you in part by our friends over at Al's #1 Italian Beef in Chicago's Little Italy, 1079 West Taylor Street. Big hello to our friends over there enjoying some great Italian food. And by the way, folks, if you're not in the area and you can't head on over to Al's #1 Italian Beef, check them out online at alsbeef.com. Also, you can check them out at Gold Belly. Just type in Al's Beef, and you'll be able to pick up your supply of Al's #1 Italian beef. Boy, is it good. Founded in 1938. They've been doing it for a very, very, very long time. It's the best in the business. Better than any of those Philly cheesesteaks, folks, if you've ever had those. Boy, in my opinion, those things are a fraction of the quality of the Chicago Italian beef. Anyway, welcome back to everybody on TV and radio. You know who you are. And also everybody streaming live on Facebook and also on YouTube and all other streaming platforms. Thanks for joining us here on the circus. Back to the Olympics. I promised in the last segment I was going to get there. Well, I ended up talking about screw-ups in the show just because I can. Anyway, moving on. So we think of the Olympics, and remember, I said everything about the women just dominating for Team USA. How exciting is that with all the medals that they won? They won most of the medals in the games over in Paris. Now, there was an issue I did mention about a gymnast being denied an appeal to keep an Olympic bronze medal, and that was actually for Jordan Childs. So the story goes, according to Yahoo, USA Gymnastics was denied in its appeal to retain the Olympic bronze medal awarded to Jordan Childs in the floor routine finals at the Paris Games. And that was recently announced. In fact, the USAG announced the decision a day after filing an appeal with the Court of Arbitration for Sport. How do you like that? Now, a USAG statement read, quote, USA Gymnastics was notified by the Court of Arbitration for Sports that their rules do not allow for an arbitral award to be reconsidered, even when conclusive new evidence is presented. Close quote. Now, USA vowed to continue to fight to retain Childs' bronze medal. In fact, the statement continues with, quote, we are deeply disappointed by the notification and will continue to pursue every possible avenue and appeal process, including the Swiss Federal Tribunal, imagine that, to ensure the just scoring placement and medal award for Jordan, close quote. Now, USA's first appeal overturned on a technicality. In fact, Childs initially finished 5th in the floor routine final, but was awarded the bronze medal via a score adjustment after her coach filed an appeal to the judgment of her routine. Upon review, the judges determined that Childs wasn't awarded full credit for a skill. So her score of 13.666 was changed to a 13.766, which moved her ahead of Romanian gymnasts Ana Barbosu and Sabrina Maneca Voinea, who initially finished the event in a third-place tie with scores of 13.700. Prior to Landis' appeal, Barbosu was declared the bronze medal winner over her teammate because of a tiebreaker. Now, the International Olympic Committee determined that Childs is not the rightful medal winner following a successful appeal by the Romanian Olympics and Sport Committee to the CAS. One of two that it filed in response to the floor routine judgment controversy. Now, the CAS, so you heard me refer to the CAS, now that would actually mean, as we know, the Court of Arbitration. And the CAS, of course, would be the Olympic Committee. Now, so we're talking about the committee that actually makes these changes here. Now, I want to make sure that I didn't say it wrong. That's actually the Court of Arbitration for Sport. Just so we're both aware. You, me, and the lamppost, if you know what I mean. But in any event, so the CAS didn't dispute that the adjustment to child score was correct. It instead determined that Landy filed her appeal of child score 4 seconds after a 1-minute time limit to do so. Now, the U.S. AG argued in its appeal that it had video evidence showing that Landy submitted the request before the conclusion of the 1-minute deadline. That would be the coach, Landy. So, the evidence it provided didn't compel the CAS to change the decision. So, I mean, this is just chaos. I mean, look, there's always drama somewhere, all right? So here we go. I mean, look at it this way. Barbosu learned of the initial adjustment result as she celebrated with the Romanian flag when she thought she was the bronze medal routine winner. She left the gym in tears in an emotional scene after seeing that medal instead awarded to Childs. In fact, the Olympic medal would have been the first since 2012 for Romania, a former gymnastic powerhouse that produced Olympic icon and 5-time gold medalist Nadia Comaneci. Everybody knows that name. If you know anything about Olympics and gymnastics, Nadia was the gold standard. In fact, per CAS, the bronze medal should now be returned and awarded to Barbosu. Imagine that. Now, Romania's second appeal was in regard to the judgment of Monica Voinea's routine. I mean, the big question is, should Monica Voinea be the rightful winner at this point? The ROSC argued that Monica Voinea was penalized 0.1 points for stepping out of bounds on her routine when she did not step out of bounds. In fact, Comaneci tweeted video of the moment in question showing that Monica Voinea did not step out of bounds. In fact, I'm looking at it right now, and no, she did not step out of bounds. Now, an extra 0.1 points would have raised Monica Voinea's score to 14.800, which would be higher than either Barbosu or Childs, previously adjusted score of 14.766. So the RSOC argued that it filed an initial appeal of Monica Voinea's score, quote, within the deadline set by the regulation, close quote. And the CAS dismissed the appeal of Monica Voinea's score without explanation. Come on, man. So the RSOC has since requested that 3 bronze medals be awarded, with Childs allowed to keep hers. Here we go, folks. And this is when everybody gets a trophy. Everybody gets a ribbon. Everybody gets something, because we don't want to make anybody upset in this hypersensitive world we live in today, where you can't say anything borderline that may offend somebody. I don't know when all this stuff happened. When did all this stuff start to happen? You know, we think back to the way we all grew up and pick our favorite neighborhoods, whatever it was. Doesn't matter what color you are, black, white, brown, yellow, red, orange, pink, purple. Who cares? Everybody just sort of went along with what was going on. Not to say that it was right, wrong, indifferent, whatever. We just didn't think much about it because it was just everyday life. And then suddenly the world got so hypersensitive about everything. This one's suing that one. That one's suing this one. You get to a point where you're wondering, does this ever end? Well, guess what? Even in the basketball world. Now it doesn't end. How about this one? Derica Hamby, basketball player, WNBA, Aces, alleging discrimination and retaliation. In a lawsuit, Hamby alleges that the Las Vegas Aces and head coach Becky Hammon traded her to the Los Angeles Sparks, wait for it, because she was pregnant? What? I don't know about that one. I'm just sitting here befuddled like everybody else. I have no script for this. I'm just looking at this and scratching my head. Why in the world would they do this? And now, of course, we're going to just talk about this for a quick sec here, and then we're going to pick it up on the other side. Now, Derica Hamby has filed a civil rights lawsuit against the WNBA and the Las Vegas Aces, alleging the two organizations unlawfully discriminated and retaliated against her. Retaliated from what? Hamby was traded by the Aces in 2022, soon after announcing she was pregnant with her second child. So, where's the discrimination come in here? Is it that Hamby didn't like the fact that the Las Vegas Aces dealt her off, and then they went on to win, oh yes, the first of two back-to-back WNBA championships, and they did it without her? Is that the stem of this, without getting into the story, which we're going to get into in the next segment? Is that the basis for this argument? It sure as heck can be, because let's face it, if you're dealt off from a team that just wins, and then they turn right around and win again, and you're not a part of it, you might be a little bit upset. I don't know. But end of day, it seems like somebody may have gotten their feelings hurt and trying to file a lawsuit based off of some other basis. I don't know. And look, I've got a law degree. I can break this down, but I'll tell you what, we're running out of time for the segment. We're going to jump back in this in a few minutes here on The Circus. Lots more to come. The chaos continues. Don't go anywhere.
Can your IRA stand up to the next financial crisis that our top economists are saying is at our doorsteps? By allocating a percentage of your IRA into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns by putting your IRA back on the gold standard. Find out how to safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA, the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report. Protect your IRA today with one simple phone call and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. Call Genesis Gold Group, empowering faith-driven stewardship. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. That's 800-932-5517.
If you served in the Marine Corps, by now you know about the contaminated water problem at Camp Lejeune. If you were stationed or worked at Camp Lejeune from 1953 to 1987, you probably have a lot of questions. We have some answers. You could be entitled to compensation. Billions of dollars are being allocated to pay for damages to anyone stationed at Camp Lejeune during that time. Unfortunately, it appears that officials may have known the contaminated water problem existed and did little to protect their men. The Semper Fi Code was not honored. If you or someone in your family has developed a serious illness, including various forms of cancer, call this Camp Lejeune legal support line right now. You can't turn back the clock and change what happened, but you can certainly call right now and learn your rights as a Marine. Here's the number.
Call 800-335-7196. 800-335-7196. That's 800-335-7196.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UpperCutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UpperCutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UpperCutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UpperCutChops.com or call 702-799-9935. That's 702-799-9935. 702-799-9935. Or make your selection directly at UpperCutChops.com.
Hey everybody, this is Brian Urlacher. Welcome back to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio. That's AMP, AAMP Television. And thanks for joining us here again in fabulous Las Vegas. And we're coming up on our 2000s show, folks. Make sure you check that out on the 19th of August. It's about a week away. Tell you what, folks, lots of great stuff coming up here on the show. And in fact, you can check that schedule of what's coming up on the upcoming schedule and the featured guest list at thesportscircus.com. And while you're there, pop on over the product side. Poke around, maybe pick up a hat, pick up a hoodie, pick up a t-shirt. Who knows? Pick up something fun, something with the Sports Circus on it. Look, we've been around for a long time. This is our 8th year doing this show. We are a long-running show, and we've had lots of good ones. Lots more good ones to come, too. All right, again, welcome back to everybody. TV, radio, you know who you are. Pick your favorite affiliate, pick your favorite network. We're probably there. Continuing on with this ridiculous, in my opinion, of course, I could say that. It's my opinion. This ridiculous lawsuit. It's a civil suit. I think it's ridiculous, but then again, it's just my opinion. So, Derica Hamby has filed a civil rights lawsuit against the WNBA and the Las Vegas Aces, alleging the two organizations unlawfully discriminated and retaliated against her. Hamby was traded by the Las Vegas Aces in 2022, soon after announcing she was pregnant with her second child. That's where we left off. Now, the lawsuit alleges the WNBA, the Aces, and Hammond, being the coach. I believe it was. Hammond is the coach, if I'm not mistaken. So let's just double check and make sure we got this right. And so Becky Hammond. Okay, head coach, Becky Hammond. Okay, so we got it right. So they retaliated against her for going public with the circumstances surrounding her trade. And in fact, the lawsuit, again, it alleges that the WNBA, the Aces, and Hammond violated Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, which, among other things, protects employees from discrimination based on sex. Additionally, Hamby alleges in the lawsuit the Aces and Hammond retaliated against her for going public with the circumstances surrounding her trade. Now think of that. Think of what that means. What does that mean to you? What does it mean to everybody else? One person's interpretation could be somebody else's interpretation. Now there are some things that maybe some people aren't really, they're not really paying attention to. Now, here's a really big thing. Now, when we think of the Las Vegas Aces, we think of the WNBA and all this other stuff, the first thing you got to ask, I think from a legal side, that's what I would ask. Of course, I too have a law degree. I don't practice law. I use it for my own personal consumption. But my first question is here. Does Derica Hamby realize that Nevada is a right-to-work state? What is that? Nevada is a right-to-work state. This means that employees can choose whether to join a union or not, and employees cannot disqualify job candidates. Employers cannot disqualify job candidates or retaliate against employees based on whether they're in a union. Okay. So we're not really concerned so much about that. Now, in short, workers cannot be forced to join a union. Does the WNBA have a union? Ask yourself that. So we go to WNBA and we say players union, right? We're just going to do a real simple search. And what do we come up with, folks? Ding, 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 ding. We have a union. Yes, there is a union in the WNBA. So you ask yourself, how does this affect anything? Okay, so the Women's National Basketball Players Association, right? We we have this officially formed union in 1998. So there are representatives, of course, from the teams and so forth. So this is one piece of the puzzle, going back to this right to work thing. Workers cannot be forced to join a union, which is a non-factor here, or refrain from joining a union as a condition of employment. And employers and labor unions cannot conspire to make union membership a condition of employment. So by contrast, neighboring states like California is not a right to work state, despite numerous attempts over the years. So what does all this stuff mean? I mean, is a right to work the same as at-will employment? No. Nevada is both a right to work state and at-will employment state, but they're entirely different concepts. Right to work prohibits employers from taking adverse actions against workers or a job applicant based on their union status. In contrast, this is where it gets interesting. At-will employment allows employers to fire their workers for any lawful reason. Employers do not need a good cause to terminate their employees unless they have an employment contract or collective bargaining agreement indicating otherwise. So now we say, well, wait a minute. What are the Nevada's right to work statutes? Why does this matter? Because Derica Hamby played for the Las Vegas Aces. Yes, this is Las Vegas, Nevada. Contrary to your belief, it's Las Vegas, California, with all the Californians here. So all these things may come into play. So NRS 613.230, labor organization defines as used in NRS 613.230 to 613.300. Inclusive term labor organization means any organization of any kind or any agency or employee representative, committee or plan in which employees participate and which exists for a purpose in whole or in part of dealing with employers concerning grievances, labor disputes, wages, rates of pay, hours of employment, or other conditions of employment. And you say, wait a minute, what does all this stuff mean? Well, what it means generally is that we have legal references to show that this is an at-will to work state. So we go back to this argument, the lawsuit, which was filed recently, alleges the WNBA, the Aces, and Hammonds violated Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, which they're stating, among other things, protects employees from discrimination based on sex. Okay, so she's claiming this, but this is team ownership. Hey, all they did was they made a deal. They made a trade. And remember, what the Las Vegas Aces could have done, according to the rights in this state, this is an at-will and a right-to-work state, they could have fired her and said, all right, you're out. Go work somewhere else. Now, they didn't do that. They dealt her to the LA Sparks. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the LA Sparks, I think, are owned by the LA Lakers. So she went to a quality organization with quality ownership. I don't really see what the problem is. Oh, that's right. The Las Vegas Aces won back-to-back world championships, WNBA championships nonetheless. So as a result, the lawsuit states that Hamby suffered emotional and financial damage as an entitled compensation. Hamby is asking for compensation that will cover the economic losses of the ordeal as well as punitive damages. Okay. So just when you thought it was messy, well, guess what? It gets just a little messier. Punitive damages, in case you don't know, or exemplary damages, are damages assessed in order to punish the defendant for outrageous conduct and or to reform or deter the defendant and others from engaging in conduct similar to that which formed the basis of the lawsuit in the first place. Sounds like word salad. Sounds like the blue team candidate to me, but whatever. I mean, look, at the end of the day, punitive damages are an extra payment to punish the defendant for grossly negligent or intent to do some kind of damage in their conduct. That's really what this is about. So it seems to me that Derica Hamby is going after the Las Vegas Aces, the back-to-back WNBA champion, Las Vegas Aces. Because why? Well, because there's some money involved. So she wants economic loss money of the ordeal, whatever that may be, and punitive damages. So in a statement, Hamby's lawyer accused the Aces of having Hamby exiled and accused the WNBA of letting the Aces get, quote, a light tap on the wrist, close quote, as the punishment. In fact, the statement said, quote, the WNBA is at its core a workplace, and federal laws have long shielded pregnant women from discrimination on the job. Every potential mother is now on notice that childbirth could change their career perspective overnight. That can't be the right in one of the most prosperous and dynamic women professional sports leagues in America, close quote. Well, listen, this attorney, to be nameless, seems to forget that Nevada is a right-to-work state and an at-will work state. This is when state law, in my opinion, overrides federal law because the incident, the alleged incident, occurred within the state of Nevada. Now, how do you move that on to maybe the Nevada Supreme Court? Well, it's got to, first of all, be over $75,000 in total damages or something to that effect. Well, this probably would eclipse that case, but they have to prove it. The burden of proof is on Derica Hamby's side as I see it, in my opinion. That's my opinion. I can say that. So she has to prove that. Now, if she can't prove that, then it can't go at least as high as the state Supreme Court. Now, how does it get moved to the federal court? Well, it's got to cross state lines. Well, it does cross state lines, but the alleged issue occurred within the state of Nevada, so therefore it doesn't necessarily, in my opinion, cross into the Supreme Court or into the federal court system. So it can't go, in my opinion, to the federal court system because it doesn't meet those parameters. Now, I'm an arbiter as well. When I look at this, I say, wait a minute. I see some holes in the argument. In my opinion, all I'm looking at here is a player that had an addition to the family, which, of course, we give her a round of applause for that. So she had an addition to the family, but these are the perils of the workplace. Fair or unfair, this is what happens. Unfortunately, if she cannot perform when she's pregnant, then she can't perform. I don't know. But apparently, this was still not stopping her from playing ball over with the LA Sparks. One way or another, I don't know. I don't know all the facts of this. But what I do know is that because this occurred in this particular state, it would appear that this is all a non-point. It's all a moot point. So you're going to say, well, I was damaged from this economic loss or this, and you trashed my name or some crap like that. In my opinion, none of that stuff's going to stick around. And I think this is something called a frivolous lawsuit. And courts don't like frivolous lawsuits. So the point with all this stuff, folks, if you think you have a case against something or someone or whatever, somebody slandered you or libeled you, they wrote something bad about you, defamed your character, or whatever, you better have a mountain of evidence because those are very difficult to prove in a court of law, and the court does not like frivolous lawsuits. So that's going to do it for the circus today. I'm your Ringmaster Sal. We'll see you in about 23 hours on your favorite station right here. Until then, so long, everyone.
Can your IRA stand up to the next financial crisis that our top economists are saying is at our doorsteps? By allocating a percentage of your IRA into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns by putting your IRA back on the gold standard. Find out how to safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA, the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report. Protect your IRA today with one simple phone call and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. Call Genesis Gold Group, empowering faith-driven stewardship. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. That's 800-932-5517.